set your dreams free. Step out and take the risk. You must go big or go home. Success or bust. Dreams and wishes are safer than reality. Real success requires that you be willing to try again. That's how you turn failure into a win. Failure's just a learning opportunity. Lose the fear, set your dreams free. Step out and take the risk. You must go big or go home. Success or bust. Failure doesn't mean it's time to quit. Failure means you haven't mastered it. Whatever it is you're trying to do, don't let failure take it from you. Figure out where you went wrong. That's how you'll start growing strong. Study what happened and learn. This is how your success you'll learn. Failure's just a learning opportunity. Lose the fear, set your dreams free. Step out and take the risk. You must go big or go home. Success or bust. You say you're afraid to fail. Risk is what success will entail. Great things require great sacrifice. Every great thing comes with a hefty price. Failure's just a learning opportunity. Embrace the fear, set your dreams free. Step out and take the risk. You must go big or go home. Success or bust. Don't keep your gifts inside. Don't let fear make you hide. It may take 100 million tries or more, but if you keep going, one day you'll score. Failure's just a learning opportunity. Lose the fear, set your dreams free. Step out and take the risk. You must go big or go home. Success or bust. Don't keep your gifts inside. Don't let fear make you hide. It may take 100 million tries or more, but if you keep going, one day you'll score. Failure's just a learning opportunity. Lose the fear, set your dreams free. Step out and take the risk. You must go big or go home. Success or bust. Dreams and wishes are safer than reality. Real success requires that you be willing to try again. That's how you turn failure into a win. Failure's just a learning opportunity. Lose the fear, set your dreams free. Step out and take the risk. You must go big or go home. Success or bust. Failure doesn't mean it's time to quit. Failure means you haven't mastered it. Whatever it is you're trying to do, don't let failure take it from you. Figure out where you went wrong. That's how you'll start growing strong. Study what happened and learn. This is how your success you'll learn. Failure's just a learning opportunity. Lose the fear, set your dreams free. Step out and take the risk. You must go big or go home. Success or bust. to walk away, but I won't force you to stay. I never want you to regret the day we met, and so I won't betray the trust we built. So I'll just say, no matter where you are, no matter where you hide, no matter what you've done, my love for you will still abide. You remain my only one. I'll keep a place for you by my side. Whenever you need me, I'll be around. No matter how far, wherever you're found, my love will be waiting, safe and sound. You've nothing to fear, I won't keep you bound. My love's a strong foundation, built on solid ground. No matter where you are, no matter where you hide, no matter what you've done, my love for you will still abide. You remain my only one. I'll keep a place for you by my side. I want you to be happy, even if it isn't with me. I want you to be happy, so I'll set you free. I want you to be happy, one day I hope you'll see. Real love needs no lock and key. I want you to be happy, it isn't love if you are free. No matter where you are, no matter where you hide, no matter what you've done, my love for you will still abide. You remain my only one. I'll keep a place for you by my side. I don't want you to walk away, but I won't force you to stay. I'd rather you be happy, I'd rather you be free, even if it's without me. No lock and key. I want you to be happy, it isn't love if you aren't free. I'd rather you be free, even if it's without me.
It is indeed that time, Monday. It is 6:30 p.m. Central Time. This is BrandyMMiller, and we are getting back to work today on our Angel. Last week, we kind of got that trumpet nailed in. We got the armor outlined. It's not completed as far as a polished look to it, but we are working toward that direction. Woohoo! Good to see you, Malachi. Good to see you, Ubi. Thank you for joining me. So happy to have you guys here. It's not that I won't draw without you, but it is a lot less lonely when I have company in the stream. So I'm always happy to see you guys. Kind of makes me feel a little less alone in the world. And I guess that's one of the reasons why I do this too. I want people to feel a little less alone in the world. Hey, 2 Yards! Good to see you too. Wonderful. All right, I think it is time to start working on our wings. And that means we're going to come back in here behind everything and pull in a new layer. Grab that pen. Get some coloring going. I gotta find my tool set. There we go. Keep this apart only. And we will grab the right color for outlining. Zoom in here and take a look at this. It may be that we need to make our wings a little bit bigger. The angel's just not quite supported with that. I mean, if you have somebody, obviously angels aren't people, so they technically don't have physics to contend with, but for the sake of the human viewer, you want to make it realistic as possible. Nice. Magic bean treble bleeding. Cool. I'll have to check that out. And sometimes my thing doesn't want to behave the way it should. Gotta make sure that I'm not on eraser, since I haven't discovered that I sometimes forget that. Why is it not drawing? Oh, well, for one thing, I'm using white. It's not going to be helpful to me. There we go. Alright. Always good if you actually use color when you're drawing, otherwise it's not going to be helpful to you. It's your first time talking to the camera? That is always a learning curve. And you know what? Congratulations to you on stepping up to do something new that you've not done before. Facing up, braving the suck, as it were. Because some parts of your journey are going to suck. No matter how long you've done it, some parts of the journey still suck. Sucks when you mess it up. Sucks when people that you wanted to show up don't. All kinds of suck to be embraced in streaming, in recording, and putting it out there. But you know what? You don't get better. Your work doesn't get better. Your results don't get better if you never start the journey. So, kudos to you for actually getting going. Oh, it's deciding to grab it and move around my screen. That's not cool. Like I said, congratulations to you for choosing to face and embrace the suck and actually getting your stuff out there where people can give you feedback. Because I've worked with writers for a long time, and writers and artists and musicians, we all share a lot in common, a lot more in common than we do what's different. And one of the commonalities of being an artist, a creative, is the insecurity. The fear that we're not going to be good enough, that people are going to laugh or are going to make fun of us. And some of that, it's not unfounded fears. It's possible that in the past, that's exactly what's happened to us. Maybe we created something and we thought it was great and we shared it with somebody and they shut us down completely. So it can take a lot of courage to get out there and really share your talents and gifts and try again. But one thing that I have learned is that you cannot know how good or how bad you really are until you get that courage together to put it out there in front of other people and give them the chance to tell you, yeah, it sucks, or no, that's really awesome. I remember the first time I had a book published, it was incredible watching people roll in with reviews that were 4 and 5 stars and thinking to myself, wow, maybe I do actually have some kind of writing talent. Maybe I can make a go of this. And then I remember also being so very crushed not even 4 months later when I got this 1-star review from an Amazon Vine reviewer. And I don't know if you know much about an Amazon Vine reviewer, but those are the people who have clout on Amazon. Amazon pays a lot of attention to their reviews and will actually downgrade your book or elevate it depending on what those Vine reviewers have to say. And she literally gave my book, which was designed for beginners who had never written a book, a 1-star. I was absolutely devastated. But I learned so much from her 1-star review. Yeah, it stung in the beginning, like heck, and I felt like it was unfair because she was critiquing me on not providing any new content that she couldn't have found on the internet. At first I was like, well, what does she expect? This is writing 101. It's not complex. It's not supposed to be beyond the basics. But because of my perfectionist tendencies, because of my desire to excel in all things, I couldn't be content with letting that 1-star review go. And so it led me to think, okay, well, what am I doing? What am I missing that I could do better? And that led me on a journey to creating a universal writing system, universal storytelling system, actually, that will work for any genre because it's based on the universal human experience. And you guys saw some of that on Saturday. That's the system that I used to outline the stories for each of the characters and for the main book. We are all our worst critics, to be honest, Malachi. And yeah, I hope he enjoys the honest product review. Sometimes having critiques come from the community can be soul crushing, especially if you don't appreciate the review, if it doesn't meet what you had hoped it would do. But you know what? Without those honest critiques and feedback, we don't grow as creators, as artists, as musicians. We need those things to tell us where we're getting it right and where we've got room for improvement. And just the act of being bold enough to put it in front of other people is itself a learning process, something that you grow from doing. So congratulations to you for having that courage, because it's not easy. It's like putting yourself out there in a totally new way, taking the risk that you'll be rejected or judged or basically told don't quit your day job. Which, fair is fair, I guess. But yeah, so I have had the best reviews come through for some of the things I've done, and I've had some of the worst reviews. But I learned from that process that there is always something that I can take from those negative reviews that will help me become better at creating content, better at serving the needs of the audience I have chosen to serve, and showing up for people. And it challenges me to do better, to be better, and to grow. And that's what it's all about. So no matter what the results are, Malachi, I really encourage you, don't give up. Keep creating, keep iterating. If things don't work the first time, if you don't get the responses you want the first time, don't quit the journey. Don't give up. Go back and figure out what you can do better. Change your approach. Study somebody else who is succeeding where you want to, and see what they're doing that you could maybe include in your workflow. Fair is fair. I mean, you guys may not have dug too deep into my channel, but last year in December, I wrote an article about this, so you may have read that also. But last year in December, I set myself a goal of going viral in 7 days, and basically fell flat on my face. I didn't go anywhere near viral. The most I had was like 7 views on my channel. I think at one point I had 12. But looking back, then I watched Ubi and I saw that he was doing better than I had done and was succeeding in areas where I wasn't. And so instead of saying to myself, well, he's got better equipment, or he's got a better life, or people just like him more, I sat down and I talked to him about what he'd done. And it was interesting because a lot of it was advice I had given him that I hadn't then turned around and applied to myself. Once I did, though, my channel is taking off. I've had over 6,500 views more in this last month than I have in the entire history of the channel. So it's starting to gain traction. I'm learning things that work. I'm giving free rein to my creativity and giving myself permission to fail. And if I put out a video and people don't watch it through all the way to the end, to figure out how far into the video they get and what maybe I did that made them stop watching. So that I can improve my content and I can improve my reach, and because I don't just have a goal of creating a channel for the sake of creating a channel. I have a goal. I want to reach people. I want to make a difference in their lives. I want to bring hope to people who are maybe right now feeling there is no hope. I want to bring joy to people who maybe slump down in the darkness and think there's no reason to feel joy or that they can't. I want to bring encouragement to people who need it. And I can't do that if I don't get the reach that I need. So it's up to me to become a really good student of YouTube and figure out what I can do to improve my work and my reach. Your arms are killing you. You were tired when you did the review, jamming out on your drum kit. Ah. Yep, that would be a very physical activity, the drum kit. I could see that. That'd be a really good physical workout, though, I'll tell you that. I've never really had the space to have a drum kit. And that's why we stuck to the instruments like, guitar and stuff. It doesn't take up as much room. Interestingly enough, I had a concept for a guitar that I could theoretically put together that would be kind of a fold-away guitar that you could take out whenever you're on the road, and then pack it up into something that would fit on a Frontier flight with no extra baggage fees when you're not. Oh, maybe I'll get to that eventually. There's so much going on in my life. So many projects. I'm sure you guys have trouble keeping up with it. And that's something I'm also experimenting with is, how much is too much content? When's the point at which you've bogged down your audience and they're not really paying attention or showing up anymore? You don't want to bore people or use up all their time and energy. At least I don't. playing the guitar, the drums, and training MMA on a regular basis, you're capable of staying in shape? Yes. Those things will help you a lot. You never have enough content. I don't know. I don't know. I wonder sometimes. But that's like I said, that's something that I'm testing too, is to see how much content may be too much. Do I exhaust my audience at some point in time to the point where they're like, yeah, that's enough? You can kind of tell when you've hit the fatigue level because people stop watching. I don't really want to reach that level where people are fatigued with my content, but I do want to know where that level is so that I work around that. Now, I think some of it, I try to vary the content so that it doesn't get boring for me or for you guys to watch. And that may actually hurt me in the algorithm. I've been told that producing consistent types of content is best for growth. So we'll have to see. But I'm actually hoping to attract an audience that's a lot like me, in that they are multi-talented individuals who have a lot of different interests. And so I will be able to meet them wherever they happen to be and intrigue them with possibilities they may not have considered. Yeah, YouTube likes consistent content because that makes it easier for them to find the target audience. But I think the way that they find the target audience is something of a mistake, in that they kind of like throw out the bait and see who will nibble. And of course, that doesn't lend itself well to somebody who creates variety content. Whereas I think if you actually asked some of the creators, especially maybe some of the more marketing savvy creators, who they wanted to reach, or even offered us kind of a questionnaire that helped people think through that, they would have better results. Well, my shorts have been doing all right, actually. They're what get the most views, which is not surprising to me. YouTube actually does promote shorts. So I have gotten sometimes as much as 1,300 views on a short. The smallest amount so far has been like 200 views. So I can't complain. That's actually where a lot of my views are coming from. And even if people aren't, immediately becoming subscribers to my channel, at least they're being exposed to who I am and what I do. And maybe they'll be intrigued enough to come back at some other point. So I can say honestly that it is helping with the views. It is pretty good. I was really pleasantly surprised at how well it did. Probably the best content I've ever had. So, content performance, I should say. And that is one thing they do recommend, is that if you do stream, that you take these and break them into short content bits that you can put out there so that you do increase your viewership that way. But of course, it is a lot of work, and I can testify to this personally, having done it for Ubi. It is a lot of work to go through your live stream video content and snip out the appropriate content. Hello, unknown. How are you doing this evening? Thanks for coming by. I appreciate having you here. we're just working on this angel's pretty little wings, outlining the feathers, and then we're going to go in and kind of do more detail on them later. Oh, that's what it did. Okay, we don't want that. Delete the layer mask, yes. And these are, I'm doing the art on even the parts that aren't currently set to be seen, because you actually don't know when you may reuse this art. And so if you have the whole thing done, that's a lot easier than having to go back in and create from scratch. So even though these parts may not be directly visible in the final art piece, I'm going to still work on putting them in there. Turn off some of what, oh, okay, that's on a different layer. I'll turn off the layers so you can see where the wings are, and yeah. That's where we are. That's where those wings are. And like I said, you can kind of see where I have gaps in there that I need to go back in there and fill. It's a lot easier to do this now when I don't necessarily need it than it would be to come back in and do it later when I did, and then not have it. Plus, if I decide later to change anything in the art, and I would want those there, I don't have to go back in and create. This is already created. I'm gonna put a hair on the angel. No, I'll put hair. Well, I haven't, like I said, last stream, I think I mentioned that I wasn't entirely sure if I was going to put hair or if what I was going to do was put the helmet on the head. I haven't finalized that decision yet. Maybe I'll try both. Probably I'll try both. Maybe like one of those things where I put the helmet over the top of the hair. So we may do a layer of hair and then come back in. All right, so that is our base wingspan form. Give that a little greater width there. And now it's time for the next set of coloring, a little lighter. I realize that I am technically being a bit sloppy with the feathers, because if I really wanted to do super high intensity, super detailed, I would have started with a detailed feather and then basically copied and pasted that layer a million times over and arranged the feathers that way, but that's not what I did. So we're going to work with what we've got, because that just the thought of that kind of tires me. Not that it wouldn't be worth it in the end, I'm sure. But also that duplication of those feathers would add less organic feel to it, because they would be way more regular in size and appearance. Whereas this is very much got that organic feel because it is organically done. Each feather is its own unique creation in the body of feathers. I am liking the way that the feathers are turning out so far. Thank you, Malachi. Appreciate that. Art's always a gamble. You kind of never know how it's going to turn out when you go into it. Could be great stuff, could be lousy. You just don't know. You give it your best and you see what comes out on the other side. And you hope that it's good. You hope that it works for everybody. And that somebody out there it speaks specifically to. Now we're going to go lighter. Gold. And a smaller brush, because we want these to be highlights. Maybe. I'm glad y'all can't see all the funny little faces I'm making while I'm doing this. I'm sure that would be a hoot, but be methodical about this approach. Get it right. Get it done. Just want it brighter than that. Oh, well, thank you, Malachi. I try to bring something positive to the lives of the people around me, no matter where I go. I think there's plenty of people out there offering some negativity. I don't want to contribute to it. Try to be a little bit of light in the world, wherever I can. Yeah, that's coming along nicely. I gotta learn some tunes I can sing to y'all while I'm drawing. You won't be bored out of your minds just watching me doodle. Like, oh, lady, you're killing me, Smalls. Very nice, 2 yards. Glad to see you back. I always hate it when I lose connection. It's so irritating. Usually at the least convenient moment possible. Had to boot the system. Yeah, I don't know where everybody is tonight. I don't know, maybe they had a football game or something they're watching. That's still a thing, isn't it? Monday Night Football. I don't really particularly care for football, so I don't really keep track of it, but yeah. I'm glad you're happy about that, Malachi. I've never been a big Jimmy Kimmel fan, but I don't have anything against people who are. And I can understand how it might be something people really look forward to, especially if you really like the guy. Alright, now back to layering on the other side. Beaker brush. I need a beaker brush. I don't know why on earth or where that Sleeping Beauty theme song is coming from and in my head, but there it is. You are now listening to the theme song that's running through my head. You're watching football and you're still here. Well, I am honored, considering that I know that a lot of people, for a lot of people, football is their religion. I have personal grudges against it. That is one of the reasons I do not like it. But I also just, am not that into watching a bunch of sweaty guys running around on the field, beating each other, tackling each other. It's not my thing. But I can respect those who like it. My grandma was a huge fan of the Dallas Cowboys. She absolutely loved them. Thick or thin, win or lose, she didn't care. She was going to be there cheering them on. I think she would have been disappointed to realize that I'm not a football fan. I am a tangential hockey fan. Mostly tangential to Ubi because he is a hockey fan, so. And once got me to rate them on attractiveness. That was kind of like weird though, because all the guys were like young enough to be my son. So it felt like a little bit about being a dirty old woman. Yeah. Kind of creepers. But it was fun. Yeah. Yeah, I think they are, Malachi. They're really starting to shape up the wings for sure. To shake my hand out, it's starting to go numb. Probably means I'm holding it at the wrong angle. Have you or Ubi ever heard of the Texas Hippie Coalition? No, I haven't. Ubi may have. No, I have not. But you have to understand, I am not nearly as musically experienced as Ubi. He actually worked for radio at one point in time in his career, and even before that was way more into the overall music scene than I was. Don't get me wrong, I love music. I'm just not as into it as he is. I think that's actually something that I've noticed is that a lot of people who struggle with moderate to severe depressive episodes, music is their thing. That's how they sort of shut down the negativity that goes in their heads and find something to put into it that maybe is a little more life-giving than what the voices in their head are giving them. In my experience, limited as that may be, that's what I've seen. I think that's kind of how Ubi was, Malachi, that he felt like he wouldn't have gotten through those teen years without heavy metal. And I guess, you know, I had my own strategies. It's not that I faced less challenges than he did, but I guess in a way I had better coping mechanisms, more hope. I think that children come into this world, and I think that um, we're born with one of like three native strengths. You can either be born with the gift for a really strong faith. That doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be religious, but you have this unerring, unbeatable belief that things are going, that there is order to the universe and purpose to it. Like, you may not believe in God, but you have absolute unshakable faith in something. Then there are people that have the native gift of hope, and I'm pretty much one of those, where no matter what is happening around you, you firmly believe that there is a brighter tomorrow up ahead. You may not have that. That may not be rooted in reality. It may not be rooted in anything that you can see or explain, but you just know that up ahead is something better. Now, that can backfire. That gift of hope can actually backfire on you into, I don't want to say it's kind of like a bliss, sticking your head in the sand and refusing to acknowledge any kind of reality. But generally speaking, people with the gift of hope are the kind who will take what seems to most people extraordinary risks because they firmly believe that there's better waiting up ahead and that they can have that better. And the third group is the people with the gift of joy, and they tend to love to make people laugh. They tend to be clowns and really good at getting people, going that way. The comedians, a lot of them are born with the gift of joy, but it's a hard gift to be born with because our society doesn't tend to value that gift. In fact, it kind of discourages the gift, if you will. You know, you're stop fooling around, stop, clowning around is kind of that thing that you hear so often said to kids. And yet we need those people who can make us laugh. We need those jokesters, those pranksters, those people who can just make the load a little lighter. So those people that are born with that gift of joy, I think, tend to get undervalued and underappreciated by the people around them. And that can lead them to feeling depressed, to feeling like there's no point to their life and that they have no meaningful contribution to add to society, when in fact their very existence adds something meaningful. But that's just how I look at life. It's not always how I looked at it, but it is how I currently look at it. You're still having issues 2 yards? That sucks. Right. Let's pull back and see how we've done. Oh, I like the feathers. Yeah, those are nice. Let's put the rest of the body in place and see how it comes together. Yeah. Yeah. We might want to go deeper on the feathers down here where I didn't fill them in. So, yeah. Yes! The wings are very nicely coming along. But I need to do more down here where I didn't fill that in. Let's go back in. And that's kind of the point of doing these periodic spot checks, is to see where I'm at. Oh, gotta bump up the brush size again. Here we go. All right. Getting all those little feathers tucked in, squared away, matched in with the rest. Yes, Fly to the Angels. It's actually a really pretty song. It was on an album, and Ubi, bless that man's heart. He, the summer I was 15, he put together a mixed tape that he gave to me. I just about wore that thing out playing it while I was playing Super Mario Brothers, mind you. That's I'll always remember that. And "Fly to the Angels" was one of the songs on that mixtape. He did not know it when he gave it to me because I'd never actually mentioned it to anyone in my entire life. But I had always wanted a guy to give me a mixtape. Just thought that would be so romantic. And he did. without me prompting him, without me telling him anything about that. He just seemed to know. And that was one of the ways I knew he was the one. The way he just seemed to know the right thing to give me, the right thing to say, the right thing to do. To say I love you in a way that would be meaningful to me. And man, we kept a post office in business when I was in high school. We spent a year where I was going to a Catholic school in a small town, like an hour and a half away from the small town we both were raised in. I was living with my grandparents and coming home on the weekends. It was miserable. It was miserable in so many ways. And he made it bearable. He would write me letter after letter. That is how I survived 9th grade without, too much PTSD needed. 9th grade was rough. Not the roughest year of my life, mind you. It was definitely a rough year. I wasn't one of the in crowd, and I hadn't been at that school for a million years like just about everybody else had. And they made sure I knew that I was an outsider, stomping all over their territory. Looking back, I don't hold it on against them. Kids are kids. They don't know better. But at the time, it was so hurtful. I already felt like I didn't belong anywhere. And they just added to that. But I'm grateful I went to that school because I learned a lot about myself and I learned a lot about my faith, and I got introduced to the rosary, and that's become a huge part of who I am as an adult. So I'm really grateful I got the opportunity to go, even if it was just that 1 year. But it was definitely a rough year. At a time when you're in your teens and you already don't feel like you belong anywhere, and you already feel like you're an awkward mess. And then having that sort of reinforced by the people around you. So difficult. As I said, I don't have any regrets. It's part of what helped shape me into the person I am today, and I have no regrets about that person. Alright, now let's check. Did we get everything done? Yay! Those feathers are rocking. And it's time for me to take a break. Hey, Warheart! Good to see you! Yeah, you are coming in just as we are about to exit out, because I got to give myself a break before the Ubi stream gets started. But this is how we've gotten along. We are definitely... I need to take the robe off because we're not wearing that anymore. We are definitely making progress on our angel. We are almost to the point where I'm going to really start working on the blending and shading. And of course, I've still got the helmet to complete, or the hair. I'm probably going to do both. But yeah, this is where we're at with this project, guys. You have seen it from the beginning. I hope you are enjoying it as it goes. I know I'm enjoying doing this with you guys. So I'm going to stop the stream. Thank you guys for joining me. Thank you so much for being present with me. It means the world to me when you guys are here. It makes it so much easier to do. And we'll see each other next week. Next Monday is the next time that I will be working on this project. I have picked Mondays And these are the days when I do this project and only these days. Oh, thank you, Malachi. I appreciate